everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is another photography video for 35mm film using my Diana F Plus camera, which is a lomography camera. It's kind of one of the point and shoot cheaper toy cameras, so it's about £35-40, or it was when I bought it a few years ago. It's the F Plus, so you can attach a flash, which makes it significantly more expensive if you're just wanting it as a little cheap fun camera. I don't have the flash though, so none of this includes flash. I'm using Kodak film, and as you can see, when I got it developed, they did include the sprocket holes, so that's what you can see at top and bottom of the picture. I do find with the Diana camera that it does tend to crop the image, so when you get the pictures back, they don't look how they looked in the viewfinder when you were taking the picture, and I think it just cuts off the top and bottom, and that might be because most places will just trim off the sprocket holes. I actually had to pay an extra £5 to get it developed with the sprocket holes showing. So the film is going backwards in time, or the video is going backwards in time. So these are from February 2022 on a trip to a local art gallery. That's kind of a nice picture, I guess, of the building. You can see the sort of frames don't necessarily line up with the image, and there's some unintentional multiple exposure or double exposure, and then also things getting cropped weirdly, and that's the fun and annoying thing about the Diana cameras and a lot of the lomography cameras, is that it's really hard to know how far on to wind them. And I've said this before, and then people commented that they just wind them until they weren't able to move it on anymore, and that's what it says in their instruction booklet, but that's not how my Diana works, and it's not what it says in my instruction booklet. So I don't know if they just have a different version, or if they change them, or what. But as you can see in this one, there's multiple images kind of overlapping each other, which makes it fun and different and interesting, but also quite frustrating if it kind of ruins a picture that you wanted to take or that you had set up to take. So these images, like I said, we're going backwards in time, and they're just from walks that I've done in our local area, so some very similar shots to some of my other film videos. I suspect these winter pictures are actually from winter 2020. They might be from 2021. I'm not 100% sure, because we did have snow both years in the winter time. But there is an image right at the end of the roll of film, which is of my baby boy when he was very little. And he's like a big boy now. So that's why I suspect it's from 2020. And so this roll of film has been sitting in the Diana camera for 2 years, or however long that would be. Not 2 years, a year and a bit. But I don't tend to use the Diana camera all that much, because it's a little bit cumbersome to carry around, because you can't retract the lens, and that's quite chunky. It makes it a bit too big to keep in your pocket. I did also lose the lens cap because they weren't attached. So that's in the sand dunes of Death Valley in America somewhere. But also, it's very light to carry around, but it's just a little bit chunky. But also, it's just not super reliable, as you can see from these images. It's kind of a fun image with this multiple exposure of me holding my baby, and then also the snow scene in the background. But you can't really see either one very well, which can be a little bit frustrating. I do think this looks quite cool. It obviously has some kind of light leak or something in the image, and the sprocket holes as well make it look quite cool, and all the bottom of the film there that you can see all the kind of markings, and then the number printed at the top is just quite fun and adds to the retro vibes, I guess. But if you just want a nice, straightforward, straight photography, it's a little bit frustrating. Like I said, it's really annoying with the Diana cameras that there's just no real indication of how far you're supposed to wind them on. The Diana F is actually designed for 120 film, but I got a 35mm back to put on the back of the camera, so I can use 35mm film because it's a bit cheaper, easier to get hold of, and easier to develop. And so that has changed a little bit of how the camera works, I guess, and how it interacts with the film. So I've actually put the 120 back on. I've got some 120 film, and so that's my next kind of film project or plan is to use some of that 120 film. Anyway, this is the shot at the end, which is quite blurry, but you can sort of just make out little baby boy.